Hey everyone, it is Luke Fry, CPA and co-founder of Timber Tax. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between compliance and planning. And this is really something that we maybe don't communicate very well and is slightly complicated, just like most things with taxes. So what we really are striving for is, rather than to be a one-time, one-stop compliance shop, meaning kind of like a rubber stamp, you just take numbers, put them on a form. Like the context for that, okay, what you might think of as an H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, Liberty Tax, where Lizzo first started as a sign spinner. What that is simply people following form instructions, okay? And the reality is that form instructions are not the law. And this is a pretty big misnomer for people who often maybe came to us and did their own taxes, or maybe their parent who's not a CPA or tax consultant did their taxes for them. Doing your taxes is not the same thing as planning for your taxes, okay? So what are some other examples of filing in compliance? It's truly a one-time, once-a-year service. For a Schedule C, you can probably find somebody to do that for 500 bucks, okay? That's not going to include a walkthrough of your tax return. It's not going to include reminders of quarterlies. It's not going to include ongoing support, email support, not going to include videos like this to help you understand more about what's going on. So we really like to think of Timber as a tax consulting or tax advisory service. And that's part of why you pay us every month, part of why our fees are slightly higher than what you would actually pay just to get the tax return done, because there's infinitely more value in not only not having anxiety around receiving something and not knowing what to do with it, but also planning, entity planning especially is a big one, planning for your tax payments, understanding when things are due, and having somebody to reach out to. Part of what is causing me to want to think about this more, in addition to just helping remind you of what we're here for and how we're different from a filing business, even a CPA firm often that you might work with, or another CPA tax accountant, almost all of them will just file the return for you. And here it is, it's done. You're not going to prison. You're staying up to date on your filings. You know how much you owe for the year. But that's not a very proactive approach. It's not very much fun for us. I don't really enjoy a one-time thing like that. I think of a compliance or pure filing thing as like maybe a one-night stand, whereas what we really want is an ongoing thing, a serious relationship where we're communicating back and forth. And when you're confused about something, you ask for clarification. When there's updates, we try to communicate that to you. And this is complicated. It's not going to be super simple and super easy. And the reality is, like any relationship or anything that you do, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So we're a good reminder is we're not an on-demand service. This is not fast food. This is something that requires your time and attention. And that's part of why we really encourage you to jump on a video call with us, not be driving or eating or, be distracted while we're working together, because the more focused and present you are, the better our work can be together. So tax consulting, advisory, helping you understand different ways to pay quarterlies, different ways to set up your business, also helping you interact with your bookkeeping as needed on occasion, understanding when you might really need to be working with a lawyer, understanding whether this is more of a legal or Secretary of State question or city business license question, as opposed to an income tax question, or sales tax is another one. Just helping you navigate to find something like Avalara or TaxJar or another person like Tax Butler to help you with your sales tax. So, we're really working to try and help communicate that. A couple other examples of a more new age type of a service for people who are either bench clients and came to us from there, or who we referred to Bench. Bench is a company that I was the first accountant at, and Ann and I met when Bench tried to start their own tax team, okay? Now, what they're doing is they partnered with TaxFile, which again is more like an H&R Block type of a thing. And so you can work with them to get your taxes done. If you've already paid us for 2019, we're working on your taxes. If you chose to switch over to bench tax, it's kind of like being in the middle of a surgery and then saying, I want to work with a different doctor, and oh, by the way, it's okay if it's a nurse or a less qualified, less experienced person. Part of what's so valuable in our relationship with working together long term is we have context for your history, okay? Whereas if you go to a new doctor, you're gonna have a whole lot more explaining to do, a lot more documents to get out again. And so if you are considering or have signed up with TaxFile through Bench, we should have a conversation, make sure we understand why, because it's probably not in your best interest. One, you're paying more, you're doubling your expenses on tax filings, and it will probably not be as accurate, and it will probably take you more time. This is definitely one of those things that quick and easy is not in your best interest. Just like you should spend more money on your mattress and your shoes, I recommend spending more time on thinking about how to plan for your taxes and your financial future than you do buying a new cell phone. You know, TaxFile, TaxFyle, is actually a business that has reached out to us and we have considered using as far as being a service provider. So they're more of just a pure compliance that will do a filing. But what we are doing is we're making sure the filing is correct, making sure that we review information with you, making sure we're providing you proper advice moving forward. So I hope that helps clarify. I think this will be a good video to actually post on YouTube and send out an email. The difference between tax consulting and advisory versus filing and compliance. So thanks for watching this. Feel free to pop anything in the comments. I am hoping that the audio was good, but I guess I'll find out when I share the video. Thanks.